But look, what did it take for us to get to the point of an apology? We had to threaten a lawsuit, Jesse. And by the way, we're still entertaining it. We're talking to some of the best lawyers out there that are experts in this. And as you know, these things can be very complicated. There's a lot of facts and circumstances around it. But we're not going to let this go, because you should not be able to smear 5,000 high school and college kids and then just be able to walk away with.
Picture this. Whoopi Goldberg, daytime TV royalty, steps into the culture war arena, ready to drop a hot take. She's no stranger to controversy, but this time, she's about to face a storm like no other. It's not just a debate, it's a verbal cage match, and the internet's got front row seats. On July 26, 2022, Whoopi Goldberg, the sharp-tongued queen of The View, leaps into the culture war fray with a take that's less a spark and more a Molotov cocktail. Discussing Turning Point USA's Student Action Summit in Tampa, Florida, she zeroes in on neo-Nazi protesters spotted outside the event, waving swastika flags on a public sidewalk. Instead of navigating the nuance, Whoopi goes full throttle, declaring on air that TPUSA was complicit in letting these extremists in and knowing what they were. Her words aren't just a critique, they're an accusation, implying TPUSA willingly cozied up to hate groups. It's a bold, reckless dive, like cannonballing into a pool of gasoline with a lit match. The studio audience gasps, co-hosts shift uncomfortably, and the internet takes note. This isn't Whoopi tiptoeing around a hot topic, it's her planting a flag in one of the most divisive debates out there, setting the stage for a firestorm. 2 days later, on July 28, 2022, Whoopi returns to The View with a rare retreat. The backlash to her neo-Nazi comments has been swift, and the pressure's mounting. In a measured tone, she clarifies, "I put the young people at the conference in the same category as the protesters outside. I don't like it when people make assumptions about me, and it's not any better when I make assumptions about other people, which I did. So my bad, I'm sorry." It's a humbling moment for a media titan known for her unapologetic swagger. She admits the protesters were outside, not inside, and her complicit jab was metaphorical, but the damage is done. The apology, meant to douse the flames, only pours fuel on the narrative that Whoopi misstepped. Her usual ironclad delivery wavers just enough to hint at unease, and that tiny crack, barely a pause, becomes the spark for a viral saga. For Whoopi, it's not just an apology, it's the moment the hunters start circling. Charlie Kirk, the 29-year-old founder and CEO of TPUSA, doesn't let Whoopi's apology slide quietly. A conservative firebrand with a knack for turning outrage into headlines, Kirk is built for this fight. On X, his podcast, and every platform he commands, he pounces, accusing Whoopi of smearing 5,000 high school and college students who attended the Tampa summit. They have to live with a shadow over them because someone at ABC says they might be linked to neo-Nazis, he thunders, framing her comments as a reckless attack on young conservatives. Kirk doesn't just defend TPUSA, he goes on offense, pushing the Darn Sue The View hashtag and hinting at legal action. His energy is pure espresso, a mix of righteous anger and calculated showmanship, as he paints Whoopi as the face of elitist media out of touch with everyday Americans. This isn't a debate, it's Kirk stepping into the ring with gloves off, ready to make Whoopi's words a cautionary tale. Kirk's response isn't a polite rebuttal, it's a verbal beatdown. His style is rapid fire, like a Twitter thread weaponized with sarcasm and precision. On his show and X, he tears into Whoopi's complicit claim, calling it a disgusting smear that paints TPUSA's attendees, many teenagers, as hate group sympathizers. They felt compelled to smear our summit because 5,000 kids chose to hear conservative speakers over their summer break, he snaps, suggesting The View can't handle the truth of young people rejecting their narrative. Kirk mocks Whoopi's apology as too little, too late, and drags her as a symbol of woke celebrity hypocrisy, preaching tolerance while slamming kids. His jabs land like haymakers, each one designed to rile his base and humiliate his target. By the time he's done, Whoopi's not just wrong, she's the poster child for everything Kirk's movement fights against. Across the media landscape, Joe Rogan catches the scent of the controversy from his podcast empire. The host of the Joe Rogan Experience, a chart-topping juggernaut in 2024, doesn't need to be in the room to shift the narrative. Known for dissecting weak arguments with a mix of logic and biting humor, Rogan's been watching The View's antics for years, and he's got no patience for what he sees as its sanctimonious bias. While he doesn't directly address the TPUSA spat, his broader critiques of The View as a platform that stifles real debate start to resonate with the Whoopi drama. It's like a shark sensing blood in the water. Rogan's ready to dive in, not with a sledgehammer but with a scalpel, and his take is about to amplify the chaos surrounding Whoopi's misstep. Rogan's attack comes via his podcast where he labels The View an ideological bubble that drowns out dissent. In a 2024 episode with Donald Trump, he recalls a supposed 2015 appearance by Trump on the show, actually 2011, claiming the hosts, including Whoopi, called him our friend. When Whoopi corrects this on The View, showing a clip where only Barbara Walters used that phrase, Rogan doesn't back down. On X and in later episodes, he doubles down, calling the show a rabies-infested henhouse where conservative voices like Meghan McCain are yelled over and silenced. His critique isn't just about Whoopi, it's a surgical strike on the show's culture, painting her as a key player in a biased machine. With his signature mix of sarcasm, facts, and you can't be serious energy, Rogan slices through her credibility, leaving listeners laughing and cringing. Here's the wild twist. There's no live debate, no fiery studio showdown, no actual tag team moment where Rogan and Kirk high-five over Whoopi's verbal carcass. Their attacks come from separate corners, Kirk's from X and his podcast in 2022, Rogan's from his platform in 2024 and 2025, yet the internet weaves them into a single devastating narrative. Kirk's outrage over the TPU say smear, and Rogan's takedown of The View's bias hit like twin missiles, converging on Whoopi's crumbling argument. The lack of a shared stage only amplifies the chaos. It's as if the universe conspired to make her the perfect target. Together, their critiques create the illusion of a coordinated beatdown, leaving Whoopi's reputation wobbling like a boxer after a double punch. The internet doesn't just watch, it detonates. By 2025, X is a wildfire of memes, hashtags, and hot takes. Whoopi Meltdown trends as clips of her 2022 apology loop endlessly, paired with captions like "Whoopi got cooked" and "Kirk and Rogan ended her." Viral posts exaggerate the drama, claiming Kirk humiliated her and Rogan left her speechless. Screenshots of her hesitant delivery fuel gifs of cartoon explosions, while armchair pundits dissect every syllable. The 2022 spat, already old news, gets a second life as a cultural roast fest, with ex-users turning Whoopi into a walking headline. It's not just a controversy, it's a digital circus, and the crowd's eating popcorn by the bucket. Whoopi, known for her razor-sharp comebacks, doesn't fire back. No fiery monologue, no cryptic X-post, no let me explain moment. After her 2022 apology, she goes ghost, offering zero response to Kirk's onslaught or Rogan's jabs. In the high-octane world of 2025 media, silence isn't just absence, it's surrender. That quiet hits louder than a viral rant, interpreted as Whoopi waving the white flag. Fans wait for the classic Goldberg clapback, but it never comes. Maybe she's regrouping, maybe she knows every word would dig a deeper hole. Whatever the reason, her silence becomes the story, a deafening admission that she got outmatched in the verbal arena. The meltdown isn't what you'd expect. No tears, no chair throwing, no reality TV hysterics. It's subtler, sneakier, a slow unraveling caught in Whoopi's cautious tone during her apology. On The View, her usual commanding delivery falters. There's a pause, a waver, a shift from defiance to damage control. Ex-users and pundits pounce, calling it a breakdown, but it's more psychological than theatrical. It's the moment a media titan, known for owning the room, seems to shrink under pressure. No sobbing, just a flicker of vulnerability that the internet magnifies into a collapse. In a world where every pause is a meme, that tiny crack becomes a legendary fall, raw and impossible to ignore. Joe Rogan's platform is a juggernaut, topping podcast charts in 2024 with millions of listeners who vibe with his question everything ethos. His critiques of The View carry weight, not just because of his reach but his style, calm, clinical, with just enough sarcasm to sting. When he calls the show an echo chamber that silences conservative women, he's speaking to a generation tired of polished sound bites. X posts in 2025 amplify his jabs, framing him as the guy who torched Whoopi's narrative without breaking a sweat. His podcast isn't just a platform, it's a cultural battering ram, and when he aims it at The View, Whoopi's credibility takes a direct hit, leaving her scrambling in the spotlight. Charlie Kirk, meanwhile, is a one-man culture war machine. At 29, he's built Tapusa into a conservative powerhouse, rallying young people against woke ideology. His response to Whoopi isn't just personal, it's a crusade. On X and his show, he frames her comments as the epitome of liberal elitism, accusing her of smearing kids to protect The View's bubble. They can't stand that 5,000 young people chose conservative ideas over their summer, he sneers, turning Whoopi into a symbol of everything his movement despises: celebrity hypocrisy, hypocrisy, media bias, and sanctimonious lectures. His brash, no apology style, like a verbal grenade launcher, keeps the spotlight on her misstep, making her the villain in his narrative. This clash isn't just three media names trading jabs, it's a snapshot of the 2025 culture wars where the battleground is online and the weapons are words, clips, and hashtags. Whoopi, a liberal icon on The View, represents the mainstream media old guard. Rogan and Kirk, with their anti-establishment swagger, are the new power players, shaping narratives for millions. The fight, real or hyped, shows how no one, not even a legend like Whoopi, gets a free pass. Every comment is ammo, every hesitation a target. The arena isn't cable news anymore, it's X, where viral clips loop to infinity and silence is defeat. This saga is the war in microcosm, loud, messy, and unforgiving. Whoopi's fanbase splits like a fault line. Loyalists rally, flooding X with defenses. She was ambushed. Kirk and Rogan ganged up on her. They argue her apology showed humility, not weakness, but others, especially Rogan and Kirk's followers, revel in the chaos, posting memes of Whoopi as a boxer down for the count. She got smoked! One viral post crows. Comment sections become war zones, with fans battling critics and neutrals tossing in actually takes. Even her staunchest supporters struggle to spin the silence that follows, as defending her becomes a full-time job most aren't signing up for. The internet split, but the momentum tilts toward the roasters. Media analysts, sipping coffee over keyboard taps, can't resist dissecting the drama. Outlets like Fox News and Breitbart call it a textbook case of the new media landscape, where even veterans like Whoopi face brutal scrutiny. No one's safe in this climate, one pundit warns, pointing to the viral churn of X. Progressive outlets like the Daily Beast frame Whoopi as a victim of a coordinated right-wing pile-on, but even they admit her silence didn't help. Late-night hosts crack jokes, while X-influencers overanalyze every frame of her apology. The consensus? The margin for error in 2025 is razor thin, and even legends can get caught off guard when the internet smells weakness. Whoopi's image, bulletproof for decades, built on sharp wit and cool-headed dominance, shows its first dent. That fleeting hesitation during her apology, that shift to playing it safe, flips her from untouchable anchor to a name blinking under pressure. In the digital jungle, vulnerability is blood in the water. Critics pounce, fans waver, and the narrative shifts. Whoopi's not just human, she's mortal. The 2022 spat, revived in 2025 X posts, proves that even icons can stumble when the spotlight's this harsh. Her armor's cracked, and in a world where every clip is a weapon, that dent makes her a target for the next hit. Rogan and Kirk, though never in the same room, form a devastating duo. Rogan's cool, calculated logic is like a brain surgeon with no anesthesia, picking apart the View's bias with surgical precision. Kirk's brash, caffeinated energy hits like a bulldozer, steamrolling Whoopi's narrative with in-your-face rants. Together, they strip her argument to the bone, Rogan exposing its logical flaws, Kirk torching its moral high ground. By the time they're done, her complicit claim isn't just debunked, it's dust. The internet crowns them victors, not because they debated her live, but because their combined force left her with nowhere to hide. Whoopi goes silent, offering no rebuttal, no statement, no viral X clapback. That quiet is her undoing, interpreted as a white flag in a war where silence equals defeat. Rogan and Kirk, meanwhile, keep swinging. Rogan with new podcast episodes, Kirk with fresh X rants. Their platforms buzz with energy, their swords sharper than ever as they move to the next target. Whoopi's reputation, once rock solid, wobbles like a skyscraper in a storm. She'll likely lay low, regroup, maybe rethink diving into firestorms. The internet, though, doesn't forget. Her meltdown becomes a cultural touchstone, replayed in memes and hot takes for weeks. This saga lays bare the brutal new rules of the media arena. In 2025, no one, not even a legend like Whoopi, gets a free pass. The culture wars are a digital coliseum where every word is a weapon, every pause a meme, and every misstep a potential knockout. Rogan and Kirk, with their massive platforms, show how personalities now shape the narrative, turning debates into spectacles. Whoopi's stumble proves the game's changed. You don't just need opinions, you need to defend them like your career's on the line, because it is. The crowd's bloodthirsty, the iPhones are recording, and the next takedown's just a tweet away.